Hi everyone. I'm going to give you some information today about how to support your child's language and communication skills. First of all, I want to just go through briefly what you should be expecting from your child at this age and stage, which kind of helps you determine whether or not you need to seek help if you're not seeing these things. So to begin with, at the age 1 to 2 years, these are the things that you should be noticing with your children in terms of their hearing and understanding. You should be seeing them point to body parts when you ask, where's your tummy, where's your nose, kind of thing. Following one part directions like roll the ball or kiss the baby, and then responding to simple questions like who's that or where's your shoe. They should be listening to simple stories, songs and rhymes, and pointing at pictures in a book when you name them. And then in terms of talking at this stage, it's really kind of a blossoming period where they're going to start, hopefully you're hearing a lot of new words and then different letter sounds, P, B, M, H, and W. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I've also attached a handout to show you what sounds in words that you're going to be looking for. They should be naming pictures in books and, again, asking questions themselves like what's that or who's that. And then in a lot of cases, you should also be hearing two words together, more apple, no bed, or mommy read or mommy book. 2 to 3 years, some new things will start popping up as you get into this age, including understanding opposites. So like up and down, big and little. That's kind of a milestone of this age for them to be understanding that. And then following two-part directions. Get the spoon, put it on the table. Find your toy, put it in the toy box. And then you definitely should be at this age hearing and seeing them understanding some new words pretty quickly. In terms of talking for the 2 to 3 year old, there should be a word for almost everything. And it might not exactly be a word that everyone understands, but a word for almost everything. Talking about things that are not in the room. And that is actually a cognitive milestone too, that they're talking about things that they're remembering or that they can't see right in front of them. Some new letter sounds at this age, K, G, F, T, D, and N. And then using words like in, on, or under. And this is a great time to be playing games like that where they can be experimenting with where they are in space. Using 2 to 3 words to talk about and ask for things. People who know your child should be able to understand them. And then they ask a lot of why, and I'm guessing that is something you're already seeing. And then putting 3 words together to talk about things. And they definitely at this age may repeat words and sounds. Just a little bit about children who are learning 2 languages. It is recommended that in order to support your child learning 2 languages is to actually speak to your child in the language that you know best. And for most people, that is their first language. A lot of times parents will think I should be speaking English to my child because I want them to learn English, but it's actually the opposite is more true, that you want to be a good language model and give them really good skills in their first language, and then that actually supports them learning a second language. Bilingual children tend to maybe be a little bit slower or lag behind their monolingual friends. So by the time they're 1, you should be hearing first words. Age 2, maybe they're going to be using 2-word phrases. And at that age also, you might be hearing them use phrases in one or both languages. they might actually use words from both languages in the same sentence. So they're going to be mixing them up and mixing up the rules from both languages. So the other thing that can sometimes be alarming for parents of kids who are learning two languages is they sometimes don't talk very much when they start using that second language or when they start being exposed to the second language. And in some cases, there can be what we refer to as a silent period where it can actually last for a few months, but where they're just very, very quiet, kind of soaking it all in. And it can be alarming. And if it feels like it's going on for a long time for your kids, that's one of those times where we would say to, to check in with your pediatrician or an organization like Help Me Grow, but to not be alarmed if that is something that you are experiencing with your child. It's really important when kids are little to talk with them and listen to them. And the listening part sometimes is where I think we need to remind ourselves. So I'm going to talk to them, commentate on what we're doing together, but then stop and listen and give them a turn to talk. And then also build on their language skills by just using lots of words and extending and expanding their vocabulary. And I have an example here of a really great example of a dad who does a great job at this. Let's watch.
They need to work on that, right? Yes, okay. Did you understand it though? No. Okay. All right. Huh? Oh no, not this one. This is the grand finale of this. Yeah, that's the last one. That's what I was wondering. I don't know what they're gonna do next season because they did some stuff this time. Exactly what I was thinking. Oh yeah. Right. Don't bring that again. You know what I'm saying? Don't do the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah. Yeah. Like go somewhere else with that, but don't bring it here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I said. And then he was like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, what in the world? But don't do that here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Really? I thought the same thing. We think a lot alike, huh? Oh, that's crazy. Right.
So cute. Here are some other things that you can do with your child that are going to support their language and communication. And of course, reading together is a really great way to support language and develop their pre-literacy skills at the same time. I mentioned a little earlier that narrating what you do as you go through your daily routine is also another great way to connect words with objects and actions, like I'm washing the dishes, I'm putting the soap in the water. So you're building their language and their understanding of really the world around them when you narrate as you go along. Make your request clear, simple, and appropriate for your child's age and ability. A lot of times parents will complain that their kids at this age don't listen, quote unquote, to them, meaning they don't do what you want them to do. And sometimes it's because it's a little too complicated. So if you can really make things more simple for them with one-step directions and make things really clear to them, it's a lot easier for them to understand, and it will help them then build their language and communication. It's also important to teach them about nonverbal communication, and this is really, what does it look like when someone is sad? Do you see how your friend is holding her hands on her face because she's feeling sad? So kind of helping them respect and recognize their own feelings and other children's feelings is great for their communication skills. And then also to extend on that, to just help them with feelings words. What are the words that we use to describe feelings? So from a social emotional aspect of development, that kind of support will go a long way in getting them ready for further along the stages of social emotional development. They need to know the words before they can really understand what it means. Another really important aspect of language and communication, and I should say a platform for it, is pretend play. Children, they often express themselves more freely when they're pretending. It feels safer for them to talk about things when they're just sort of allowed to freely riff while they're playing pretend. And then it's also, pretend play is also a great opportunity for them to take on different roles and act out different things that people might say or think or do. And this is a time where you might actually hear them mimicking you during pretend play. But it develops language as well as social skills. So it also is important for us to be a good role model in terms of language and communication, because your child is watching you very carefully, and we want them to see us talking to others with kindness and respect, so that is the model that they're going to learn from. And also they'll be listening to your tone and your manner, and those are the things too that they're going to pick up on. Oftentimes they pick up on tone and manner even before they have the words. And then it's just one of those, when you model it, you're expecting this kind of respectful communication from others, and then you're showing them what they should or how they should expect to be treated by others. So again, very important link to social emotional skills and relationships. I just wanted to say a few things about stuttering, because it is not uncommon for children between the ages of 2 to 5 to exhibit some stuttering. And for most children, it's just a part of learning language and putting words together, and sometimes they just can't get them all out. Their brains are working a little more faster than the mechanics of their mouths, and so it can be pretty common. If it happens, if you're seeing that with your child, if you're really worried about it, we would definitely say contact a professional. But if it doesn't seem like it's really getting in the way too much, here are some tips. So the first thing is to remain calm. If you hear them stuttered, not panic or get too worried about it. And then give them your attention and listen carefully. So without really interrupting or trying to help them finish the sentence, just to be attending to them and listening. Taking a slow and relaxed way yourself will be a really much more effective way to deal with their stuttering than criticizing or asking them to try it again, do it again, but do it more slowly. I know that's instinctual for us as parents, but it can often put a lot of pressure on them. And then just to convey that you're listening to what your child is saying, not how she is saying it. So it will give them more confidence and increase their fluency. Another thing that commonly happens with young children is they mispronounce words. And, I know that sometimes parents wonder about how you should respond in those situations. And the thing to remember is that you don't need to sort of grill and drill them like, no, this is how you say it this way, say it this way. Instead, just offer up the missing sound. So whatever the word is that they're mispronouncing, just use it in a sentence, use it as you're playing, so that they hear the sound or the word over and over again, but rather than constantly correcting them. And then let them take their time when they're trying to say something. So just stopping again and listening will kind of keep everything a little more less frustrating for both of you. And this is what I'd already mentioned, is just to discreetly kind of get them to repeat the sounds, not in a corrective way, but just adding it in conversations and play throughout the day. And then this last point, translate if necessary when talking to other people. This is an age where sometimes you can completely understand what they're saying, but other people can't. And if necessary, to aid in the communication, just help out with a little translation. Here's the speech sound development chart that was actually included in your email, so you can take a closer look at it. It just gives you an idea of the sounds that you should be expecting to hear from children at certain ages. And then, as usual, if you have any concerns about your child's development in any areas, including speech and language, we would encourage you to contact Help Me Grow, and you can fill out their online form for a referral or call the number on the screen. You can also call our early childhood special education department. The number is there, 975-6979, and someone will contact you to answer your questions. You can also contact me or any one of the ECFE staff as well. Thank you.